Hey Mad Nation, what's up? Matt Uzuki here, bringing you a standard NU Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This is against somebody I found on the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder. Pretty awesome. It's going to be a short and simple match. Biggest problems that I saw on his team were possibly the Quagsire and Altaria and Absol. You know, those could either be really, really bulky, or Absol could set up and just sucker punch the hell out of everything. And I wasn't going to want to be having any of that. So let's get right into the match. I'm going to lead with my choice Spec'd Raichu. He's going to lead with his Absol, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to lock myself into like Volt Switch or something and not be able to do anything against Quagsire or Wishcash if he decides to switch in. So I'm just gonna go right for the Focus Blast. It'll be super effective against Absol if he decides to stay in, and it should still hit Quagsire and Wishcash for at least a decent chunk. Thankfully, my Focus Blast does hit and Absol goes down, so that's a pretty massive physical threat out of the way. He's going to switch in his Quagsire, and I'm like, alright, well, I want to preserve my Raichu maybe for a sweep later on if I can get Quagsire and Wishcash out of the way. So I'm going to go in my Tangela, which is a Eviolite set, as he Toxics. It does have the Regenerator, as any decent Wall Tangela should, so, you know, I will be able to switch off and kind of mitigate the Toxic damage pretty well. As he's going to go into Altaria, and I'm like, I don't want to Toxic this thing if he's going to switch into it. So I'm just going to go for the Leech Seed. I don't know if he carries the Heal Bell or not, so I don't want to Toxic it in a futile attempt, you know, to get that residual damage on it if he's just going to Heal Bell it off. And I kind of just wanted to see what he was going to do. So I do substitute up here thinking that, you know, if he does do anything, he probably won't do that much damage, and I will be able to get a sub out of it, you know, just to see what kind of set he's running. And he shows me Dragon Dance, which means he's probably more of an offensive set with, like, Dragon Claw and all that good stuff. Probably, like, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, Roost, and I don't know what he might be carrying as a fourth move. I don't know, I didn't get a chance to see it. But he's going to want to get rid of this Leech Seed damage as he goes into his Wishcash. And I'm like, alright, so this thing isn't carrying Heal Bell, so I can safely Toxic this thing. So his Wishcash is going to end up Toxic, which, hey, isn't a big problem, because if he doesn't carry the Heal Bell, then this Toxic damage will be nice to have on this thing. It'll seriously affect the longevity of Wishcash, which I know can end up being really, really bulky. He's going to go back into his Altaria, fearing the Giga Drain. I guess he really just wanted to get rid of that Leech Seed, but I'm going to go back into my Jynx, knowing that this Altaria probably won't be able to do a whole lot to it. And this is a Timid Spec'd Jynx. That's actually, its nature is going to play a role as the game goes on. I can't get my camera just right. But he's going to bring in Quagsire, fearing the obvious Ice Beam, which I do go for. But Spec'd non-resisted Ice Beam from a Spec'd Jynx. That's just yeah, get out of my house, son. That's just, you know, there's no way you can. There's no way you're going to be able to take that well. So he's going to switch out of his Quagsire, I guess mostly to try and preserve it, possibly for fodder later, and go into his Jonah, which I figure he really doesn't have anything that wants to take this Ice Beam, so I'm just going to keep Ice Beaming away. And this, once again, almost a kill, not quite. Even with the Toxic damage, going to live with just barely Spingin'. And I'm not going to worry about, you know, switching in and out and playing stall games. I'm just going to go right for the Ice Beam, take this thing out. And he's going to go into his Mr. Mime. And I'm like, this could be a defensive set, and I really don't want that. I don't want him killing off my Jynx or, screwing up my Jynx. I really want Jynx to stay alive because it's an extreme counter to his team. And I'm glad I switch out because he's actually a Life Orb special attacker. And he is going to be carrying the Focus Blast, which, I mean, I guess it probably would have taken out Jynx, but man, this Regirock is just, it's something. Anyway, I'm gonna end up protecting, figuring that he's gonna want to go for another Focus Blast. I can maybe try and PP stall his Focus Blast out. Thinking maybe I could fish for a couple of misses and just try and protect stall Stum. I'm going to go for the mid-game Stealth Rocks because mid-game Stealth Rocks is better than no Stealth Rocks. Entry hazard damage is entry hazard damage. So he's actually going to be a nasty Placette, and I'm like, alright, well, this really isn't that good. In retrospect, I probably should have gone for the Seismic Toss here. I was actually trying to go for the Toxic, I believe, but he's going to Psyshock me and kill me anyway. From a +2 even against Regirock, Stab, Psyshock is definitely going to take me out from that range. So, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably faster than this thing. The only reason it wouldn't be faster than it is if it was like Scarfed and max speed, which is obviously not the case. So knowing that I'm definitely going to be faster than it, I can go in, revenge kill with the Shadow Ball, take out his Mr. Mime, no problems asked. Now he knows that I'm Spec'd, definitely by this point, so he's going to go in his Swellow, and I'm like, alright, I obviously can't hit Swellow with the Shadow Ball, so I'm going to have to switch out, and I really don't have anything that wants to take a Brave Bird at this point. I guess I could have sacked my Raichu at this point. I mean, I didn't really necessarily need it, but I'm just going to go into Torkoal because he is my physically defensive wall Torkoal, and he takes that like a boss and does actually about half. And I'm going to get a little leftovers recovery. And I'm like, even with the Guts boost, if he does kill me, he's going to be taking a massive amount of recoil. If he doesn't kill me, then I could just hit him back and do a massive amount of damage with Flamethrower. But he's going to switch out into Altaria, I guess, to preserve his last sweeper, if you will, as best he can. I think other than this Altaria, he only has Quagsire and Swellow left. So at this point, I'm just like, alright, instead of, rest stalling this thing out because my Flamethrower isn't doing jack diddly balls, I don't want this thing setting up too many Dragon Dances and be able to, get a freak sweep going because I do not have a Scarfer on this team. So I'm just going to go right back into Jynx, and again, with Jynx being timid nature, even after +1, I will be able to outspeed it and hit this thing with an Ice Beam. He is going to Dragon Dance on the obvious switch, so he's going to get to +1. But again, timid nature, Jynx against probably a more offensive variant of Altaria, but even still at +1, he's not going to be able to outspeed me with jack diddly balls. So I'm going to be able to take out this Altaria. He's going to bring in his Swellow, which I figured I could try and preserve my Jynx, but I'm probably not faster than a Swellow anyway, particularly if he's running Jolly Nature. It's not going to happen, so I'm just going to stay in and actually sack my Jynx at this point. It was a damn good run, and I figure that all that recoil damage on the Brave Bird is probably, going to do a hefty chunk, and it does. It actually causes a double down, so he's only down to his Quagsire, which is at like 5% health or something like that. So that's what he's going to bring in, and I'm actually going to bring in my Swellow just, for the guaranteed kill, because from this range, Facade or Brave Bird is obviously going to kill. And Facade is exactly what I go for, and I do the thing with the stuff and take it out. And that's going to be the game. Yeah. So I guess in retrospect, what he probably could have done is hit my Jynx with Facade, and he probably would have had his Swallow alive, and then it probably would have come down to a speed tie. If you see my screensaver there for a second, I'm sorry, but you saw most of the battle, and yeah, it does happen. So that's pretty much gonna be it. Things probably could have gone better. Would have gone completely different if he, like I said, facaded with that Swallow. I don't know why he didn't, because Guts boosted Facade is actually, I think, stronger than Brave Bird. I think Brave Bird is like 120, and Facade is like 210 after like the Guts boost and everything. So I don't see why he, at that point, he probably could have just swept me with Facade, assuming he won the speed tie. If he was actually Jolly Nature, I don't know. But yeah, so that's going to be a 20-turn win for me. Pretty easy game. Pretty good game to get the ball rolling with. I will have more matches coming up in the future. Time allowing, I get some decent matches, and I don't fight a whole bunch of people in a row to disconnect on me or some shit like that. I'm probably going to be doing NU for a while, just because it is actually my favorite tier as of right now. OU, I'm sick of OU seeing the same like 6 or 7 different teams with sun and rain and sand and all that shenanigans, and I don't enjoy OU. I'm working on a few other teams. I'm working on an RU team, and I'm also trying to work on a second NU team. I do love this team, though. This will probably be the team that you're going to be seeing for the time being, until further notice. And without anything more to say, I am losing my capacity to speak correctly very, very slowly. I'm going to end here. I think I've rambled enough. So clickety-clack that like button. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And tell your friends. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love seeing more subscribers. It's always good. So yeah, just thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.